All right, so what I want to do is just take a few minutes to go over the syllabus and the basic information for Edu 401A, which is SPSS. And then I might use this video as well for 401B, which is data, because it'll pretty much cover the same exact content. And so why am I doing this? Why am I creating a video to go over the syllabus? I feel very strongly that as a core principle of this class, I feel very strongly in this idea of active learning as opposed to kind of traditional lecture style. And I feel particularly strong about that in the context of learning these software programs used to analyze data. And so if I can do this sort of thing outside of the actual course, then inside of the course, we have 6 hours together. You can spend that time working in groups and becoming comfortable with the program and getting targeted help to what's important. So, random details, you can see that at the top. Office hours are by appointment, but feel free to reach out. I would love to help with any sort of data problem or any sort of advice you would want with regard to the course or to data. I have 2 course goals. 1, feel comfortable completing and interpreting basic analysis. 2, feel confident that should a more advanced need come up, you could figure it out. So I think if you haven't used these programs before, number 2 is actually the really, really important thing, is no one knows everything that SPSS or Stata can do, but if you know where to look and if you know the basics, you can figure out most problems. And if we can get you to a point where you feel confident in that, I think there's kind of this barrier to any of these sort of data science things that makes things feel scary. And I promise you, it's not that scary. It just takes a little bit of time getting familiar with the environment and how things work and maybe this way of thinking. And so the main thing to focus on here is the course format. In order to prevent lecturing from happening in class, what we will do, we only have 6 total hours, is before class, I'll make a video. You'll watch the video. It'll probably be 20 to 30 minutes max, I'm hoping. Alongside watching that video or after watching that video, you'll complete an exercise. And that's just to make sure that you're actually understanding what's in the video. You don't want to just passively listen to something. It's not going to be effective. And I should say something about the video. Feel free to skip around. It's a tool. It's a resource. Feel free to listen to it at 2 times speed and jump around and go back and forth. It's for that. And then number 3, and I'm hoping this is where a lot of the learning happens. I think some will happen in 2. But in 3 is where there's going to be a somewhat more open-ended activity, and it'll depend on the week. But you'll work in groups doing that during the actual class period. When I say work in groups, what I'm imagining, we're kind of testing this out, but what I'm imagining is a group of 3 to 4. Everyone in the group is on their computer and typing and coding or using the software as they go, because you need to build the personal muscle memory. But the group is kind of actively talking about, like, oh, where did you find that? Oh, why do you think we should do that thing? Or, oh, and the group's kind of going as slow as the slowest group member, if you're thinking about it in terms of like rates. But really what I'm thinking is I want everyone in the group to be talking and thinking about the problem and what's going on together. And then each week, it's important to me to iterate on this course and make it better. So I'll ask you to fill out a really very short Google survey each week. And so grading, it's going to be pass fail. So it'll be pretty straightforward. Make sure you make at least 4 out of the 5 classes. And then each class comes with an exercise and an in-class activity. Do those things, and it'll be great. And then on the margins will be the sort of feedback that you give if it's close in between. I don't anticipate having a problem. You're in this course, I assume, because you want to learn this stuff, and hopefully we're giving you a high-quality opportunity to do that. You can look at the class topics 1 through 5 there. Let's look at this main frame. So organizationally, it seems very important that we organize this well. The main frame for the course, I'll put links to everything there. Everything will have access to, it'll be course logistics, then class 1, and then class 2. And really, this course will just go in order from the top to the bottom of the stock. So bookmark the stock, have it available. It is kind of the key to the course, and everything will happen based on what goes on here. I want to tell an anecdote about learning data science as kind of a closing here, which is, it's crazy to me how efficient or inefficient learning data science can be. I think it's usually terribly inefficient. I think it's you encounter a problem and then you get lost and you get intimidated and you do a bunch of Googling and you don't really find a solution. And you imagine that there's some whiz kid out there who could, with 3 lines of code in 5 minutes, could kind of solve the problem that you're working on, but you're just diving through mountains of information online, or maybe you're just watching someone do data science. And it doesn't have to be like that, and I'm hoping this course is the first opportunity for it not to be like that. It can be simple chunks where you're slowly gaining comfortability and scaffolding on top of each other. It can be being very active and getting as much muscle memory around the software as possible. And my thinking on this has kind of come from Bill Bierman, and he started the Data Challenge Lab, which is an R course to learn the software, statistical software R. And he basically said, like, our data science education was terrible. Kids were just watching lecturers do things. They were going to Google, and the kids were smart, and so they'd pick it up fast once they were at Google. But when they'd arrive there, they wouldn't have many skills. And he kind of designed this Data Challenge Lab environment that is like what we're doing, and I'm modeling a lot of what we're doing off of it. But it's 15 to 20 hours a week, and it's much more intensive. And so if we can just get you a fraction of what we did in Data Challenge Lab with regard to R, and here with regard to SPSS or Stata, where you're gaining some sort of comfortability, I think that's going to have high leverage downstream when you're doing research and different sorts of things. Because the fact of the matter is, no one really stops and says, hey, do you know Stata or SPSS or whatever? They kind of assume it in the subsequent coursework. So I think this can be a really, really, really productive experience. I'm experimenting with the format of the course, and so I would love for you to be really, really open with me about what's working, what's not. You're learning what you need from the course, how we can better serve you, because ultimately I want to be very, very useful to you. So I'm excited to have you in class. The mainframe and the syllabus, I walked you through the syllabus, and then the mainframe has links to everything. Here's the syllabus right there. I'll add the video there, and I'll add the links. Okay. See you soon.